Darkiplier returns. Part 2 of the Markiplier Creepypasta by Rachel Picard. Please read Darkiplier Rises. Link is in the description below. Have you ever had one of those dreams that you wish you hadn't? After that whole thing with Darkiplier last year, the last thing I want to dream about is Darkiplier. Right after I woke up, I got a call from Chris, and he told me that he and Steve both had similar dreams to mine. I started to feel an evil chill slither up my spine. I reluctantly expressed a need to check out the house. They agreed, and we met in the house. We walked slowly to the front door and found it ajar. With a gentle nudge and an eerie creak from the hinges, the door slowly opened. Upon entering the main foyer, we saw Markiplier, and he seemed perplexed about something, as we all were. As we approached him, he asked, "Do you guys have the same dream about Darkiplier?" I replied with a disturbing and vexing, "Yes, we all did." The dream itself was short and simple. It was mainly about Darkiplier talking to a large, translucent, gelatinous creature that could absorb any object or being it came into contact with. Darkiplier and this odd creature made a pact. It would send Darkiplier back to our world, but in 5 years' time, he would have to find a way to bring it to our world so it could feed on all that is. Darkiplier agreed, and that is where I woke up in a terrible fright. Chris, Steve, and Markiplier relayed the exact same story. We all looked at each other and realized we all came to the same conclusion. We figured the entity wouldn't be coming, even though Darkiplier agreed, because, as with most villains, he lies to get what he wants. Even still, Darkiplier is bad enough, and he has returned. Suddenly, all the doors slammed shut, and the exits wouldn't budge. It was as though they were sealed by some magical force. I was terrified, and looking back at Chris and Steve, I could see they were too. Markiplier looked at us and said, "It'll be okay. We're locked in, but so is he, and he isn't as strong or handsome as me." We laughed and felt a little better. Now we just had to come up with a plan. I thought about it for a moment and could only think of one thing we could use against Darkiplier: his pride. Because once he thinks he has won, his pride will cloud his judgment. He will believe he is unstoppable. After I explained my idea, Markiplier grinned creepily and said, "I have the perfect plan." Chris, Steve, and I looked at each other and nodded as Mark put on his pink mustache. Everything we needed for the plan was in the house, but what we didn't know was we were on a clock, because Darkiplier was working his own plan and had a head start. He was going to summon Jeff the Killer and Radical Larry, aka SCP-TAC-106, to help him get his revenge. Markiplier gave us a list of things we would need to get rid of Darkiplier and said he would be the distraction. I took the list, and Chris, Steve, and I began our preparations. Meanwhile, Darkiplier, Jeff the Killer, and Radical Larry were on the hunt for us, where they came upon a dark room where Markiplier was lying in wait. They each bumped into a podium, and a light shone upon them. While they were taken aback, Mark said in the Wilford Wharfstache voice, "Hello, contestants. I am your host, Wilford Wharfstache. And welcome to The Price is Torment." All of them cocked their heads in confusion, and Mark continued by saying, let's meet our horrific contestants. Contestant number 1 is none other than Jeff the Killer, an emo man with a penchant for murder. Hello, Mr. the Killer. Can I call you Jeff? Jeff's response was a violent slash at Mark and said, "Go to sleep." Mark continues, "I guess I'm boring him, folks." Our next contestant is Radical Larry. Before Markiplier could finish, Radical Larry faded into the shadows and was gone. Well, I guess he didn't want to compete, folks. Moving on, our last contestant is the infamous Darkiplier. Mark continued. Again, Markiplier was interrupted, this time by Darkiplier summoning a weakness of Markiplier's, the original ghost from Eyes. Unfortunately, Markiplier couldn't help himself and said in a very flirtatious voice, "Hello, baby. Couldn't stay away?" Just as the ghost was about to take Markiplier, we, having gathered our necessary components, completed the ritual and banished all the entities. Hopefully, for the last time. They all screamed in agony and vanished. Chris then said, "Markiplier, does that remind you of anything?" To which Markiplier yelled, "I finished vanish!" We all started to laugh, and then I started to sing. Oh, that's so cool. Everyone looked at me, and I just shrugged and asked, "What?" Final thoughts. I've always been fascinated by the Darkiplier, Markiplier stories that have circulated on the net. I find this to be very fun and interesting. However, it also kind of seems a little creepy. The thought that a doppelganger from another dimension or something like that was brought to this world to try and take the place of somebody. It's a creepy thought, a little bit scary, even downright nightmarish. I hope you've enjoyed this. I certainly have. It's been fun hearing this story created by Rika and by Rachel. She's really getting a lot of fun out of writing scary stories, and I hope you're enjoying them too. Feel free to check out the rest of the creepypasta she's written. They should be in the description or in the videos below. Thanks.